I'm Marilyn Hemingway, and welcome to A Gathering Place. I said, I'm stepping back because we have young voices who want to be heard, and they're moving on something.
Branding is really important to you and your business.
Even a basic type of technology, you'll learn it all.
And people are
Good question. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to A Gathering Place, hosted by the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. And my name is Marilyn Hemingway, and I am delighted to be with you today. We have a good show, our usual third Sunday politics talk. And today we're going to be talking about the American Rescue Plan. We're going to be talking about the infrastructure plan. I believe that's $2 trillion. And my apologies, we started a little bit after 4 because Brandon and I were catching up, and guys, we get together and we talk, and then we gotta hop on the show so we can share what we're talking about and everything. But we're gonna take a few minutes with you this afternoon to share just our thoughts about politics, the American Rescue Plan, and what's going on in the United States. So I want to welcome my co-host today, Mr. Brandon Upson. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Marilyn, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much, y'all. I got to say this, Brandon, because, y'all, we talked before the show, and Brandon stopped on his way home so he could do the show, and he's in his car in the parking lot. And then after Brandon, when I started the opening, I started thinking, man, you need to be careful as a black man sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is. It really is. Just to think about it, I saw a meme the other day with a father holding his son, saying, "Man, I'm scared for him out there." Right after seeing another black man shot, and then they had what was going on in the kid's head, and he was saying the same thing. I'm really scared for my father out there.
Yeah.
And that's the reality that we're fighting against. Hopefully, we can change this and change it faster than this next generation has to deal with it.
I certainly hope so. And we know things are circular. You and I just finished talking about that regarding the New Deal, the FDR New Deal, and what Biden is trying to do with the infrastructure bill and also the American Rescue Plan. And I don't think people realize that the New Deal were just under 100 years ago. The 1930s. We're in 2021. So 100 years ago was the New Deal. And now it looks like we may have another opportunity for a new deal. And there's a huge difference time that you and I were talking about, because now they're deliberately and strategically including African Americans. If you read the books, Brandon, Jamarr, and I read a lot. So one book is Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents. This is kind of like the social science of what leads to all the laws and the constitutions that really impact caste, class, and race. And then we're talking about The Color of Law. I'm just starting this one, and this talks about how our government, local, state, and federal government literally put into law redlining, home mortgages, how those are financed, how developments are paid for, and it's based on excluding African Americans. And it's well researched. Go ahead.
In addition to excluding African Americans from home ownership, how to systematically remove their property, using those laws.
That's right.
With the expansion of the highway and interstate system, y'all read the book. I recommend Color Change, and then I'm about to order Caste because I haven't read that one yet. But just like you were saying, Marilyn, when this morning Representative Gilliard told me, he was like, sometimes information is a burden. And when you're reading this stuff and seeing what's taken place and what's been systematically put in place to target Black folks and African Americans, that is heavy. You know, I have to put a book down and come back to it later. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I totally agree. I was telling Brandon that Cast, this is a well-written book, very informative, but it took me a long time to read. It was just heavy on my mind and heart, what it revealed, the quantification of what we inherently understand as Black folks in America. That she did the research that ties in the caste, class, and race, and how the laws were made, and just how it's just embedded in our culture. And quite frankly, I agree with Representative Gilliard. Sometimes it's heavy, but we have to read. We have to gain this knowledge so we can continue the fight. So we can bring the fight to where it's at, because that's where they get you. If you don't come with knowledge, they'll get you. You know, you can't break through those barriers. And an interesting thing is we have to come with the knowledge, but most of the time they don't have the knowledge.
right.
They just have the relationship. But when
They
we
just
can
have the
hold them
privilege.
accountable, go ahead, say that again, Brandon.
Yeah. They don't have the knowledge, but they have the privilege to benefit from what's been put in place for generations.
Exactly. So it's like habit. Privilege is habit. You looked out for my son. You married my daughter. So the next generation is going to look out for my grandson, granddaughter. You're going to marry who? And it just becomes there becomes a lot of habit and assumptions. But when you go to the law or you go to the books and get the knowledge, many times you will find out that the law does not hold up the privilege.
Right.
But because the knowledge has been withheld from us, we go into spaces. If you don't know the knowledge, you can't fight. You got to fight with the knowledge. You got to fight with the knowledge. And that's why we're constantly reading, and not just books, folks. I read articles. Brandon and I were talking earlier, and I was like, Brandon, there was an article I read about the American Rescue Plan that talked about the impact on, and what you wanted to talk about. I'll read the title, then we'll get into what you want to talk about. The American Rescue Plan is a big freaking deal for families and workers. A brief overview of the American Rescue Plan and how it may impact women of color. And the American Rescue Plan is the bill that was passed into law that funded additional vaccinations, put in the system to get the vaccinations distributed. But Biden went beyond that. He started touching on infrastructure, because healthcare is infrastructure.
Absolutely.
This is why we are able to go get these vaccinations, and y'all don't have to pay for them. That's deep, y'all. That's deep. And a lot of these things in this American Rescue Plan, they want to make permanent. And I know, Brandon, you wanted to talk about it and really bring our attention to certain things. But y'all, I'm going to put this article in the comment sections. Y'all need to read it. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, definitely. Y'all need to read it, know what's in it, and know how you can what the qualifications are, so you know what you deserve. What you deserve out of it, right? So the American Rescue Plan is a $1.7 trillion bill that was signed into action about a month ago, a little more than a month ago now. Now, what I want to start off by saying is that 0 Republicans voted for this, and they had 2 reasons why. One, they said it was too expensive. So $1.7 trillion is too expensive to get our country back on track and to fight one of the deadliest pandemics we faced in North America in more than a century. But also, they said it was too many items within the plan that didn't pertain to COVID. Now, we as African Americans and Blacks and minorities here in America, we've been facing a number of pandemics that aren't just, from my assumption, not just COVID-19, but poverty related. So many of the things that Biden put in this American Rescue Plan, it addresses those poverty related issues that were compounded by COVID-19 that made us more susceptible to economic and financial ruin. In many cases, people are losing their jobs and their homes and their livelihoods, right? So there's a couple of things, top lines for me. In this 1.7 trillion, there's money in it for mental health. The burden of economic pressure, it you can't sum it up into quantifiable words, but it has a mental impact. And also the extension of unemployment benefits for over 11 million people. It has the biggest, and I know we're going to talk about this, but the biggest child care investment since World War II. $3 billion is in here for food and nutrition programs. And it also, one of the things I wanted to talk about, it expands the child tax credit and also increases and expands the ACA. So if you're like me and you got a fairly large family, I got a family of 5, insurance looks like a car note plus part of your house, your rent. So,
I can look. I know how much I'm paying as a single person who's a business owner, and that's a huge amount. So I'm like, I already talked to somebody about lowering my costs. I can imagine how much it costs with you and a family.
man, I'm always trying to figure it out, but I've learned. I remember my grandmother used to take care of so many of our ailments and injuries at the house. I jumped a fence when I was younger, and it cut my leg, and I know I was supposed to get stitches. I know I was supposed to, but I didn't. She wrapped that thing up good. And
What was it? Hydrogen peroxide she poured on it, or just pure alcohol?
No, she did some peroxide and something else, and put that thing
And wrapped
together.
it up and
Yeah.
kept it going, huh?
Yeah.
It's real. We laugh now about our childhood memories, but this is real impact on our economics growth, generational wealth.
Yeah.
This is an economic justice question because you mentioned the mental stress of paying bills, and me being the founder of the Gatagichi Chamber of Commerce. One of the things I run into is people worrying about their health and stress. From that worry, they don't have the time to invest in business. There are so many people who want to start a business, but they're like, I might lose my health care, which is true because it's going to have to come out of your pocket. It's coming out of my pocket. But how can you help mitigate that factor so we can create more businesses? So it's an economic development question.
Yes.
This is a game changer, and I think people really need to start paying attention to what's in the American Rescue Plan and also the infrastructure bill.
Absolutely. Because we cannot have political power in our community without having and building economic power.
That's right.
And I know folks, my mom, for instance, has medical bills that prevent her and prevent them, other folks, from being able to take advantage of opportunities to build financial security, generational wealth, and even purchase their first homes, right? I know a lot of people talk about what do you call it? With your tuition. So those
Student debt.
student loans, right? Luckily, I went to the military. I got my GI Bill. So, but many people weren't fortunate or took that path. But more so than student loan debt, we have other things that we're already underwater. One of the statistics I found when I was reading more articles about Biden's rescue plan is that 1 out of 5 Black Americans are facing food insecurity right now. And I remember over the summer and during the fall last year doing food banks and having that line wrapped around the building or down the street for a quarter mile from folks trying to just get a basket of food, right? So with them putting an extra $3 billion into this for food and nutrition, I know that helps. And it helps get us settled, get us grounded. One of the big things that I'm seeing in here is what he's doing for housing. They put an additional $21.5 billion in here for rental assistance. So once I saw that, I was like, how can you qualify for it? And then there's another 10 billion for homeowners assistance. And that one goes really deep. So to qualify for the rental assistance, and for both of these, your local government is going to be the entity that allocates the funds for these two programs. So it's not about you writing your congressman or writing Joe Biden, the Biden administration. It's about you writing your governor, putting pressure on your state senator and your state representative, because the local government is what's going to allocate these funds. So to qualify for the rental assistance, you just have to prove that either you qualified for unemployment benefits or prove that your pay was reduced at work due to COVID-19. And so many of us faced that over this last year. And then for the homeowners assistance, you just have to prove that you're facing financial hardship due to COVID-19. And you can do that in another number of different ways. But again, that is not the federal government managing and operating that program. That'll be your local state government doing that.
And that's why it's so important that we get out and vote, not just for president, folks, but we've got to stay engaged for every election. Absolutely. And vote for people on the local level, the state level, and the federal level. Because we just had a special election here in Georgetown, South Carolina, where I live. For those of you who didn't know, I live in Georgetown, South Carolina. The turnout on the Democratic side, and I'm just going to be honest, was low. The Republicans came out. They had a strong candidate, and they put a lot of money behind their candidate. What we need to understand, folks, is we as citizens have to be engaged. We can't wait for someone to come tell us all the time. Yes, they're supposed to. The candidate needs to come and ask you for your vote and get you out to vote and do by any means necessary, legal means necessary to get you out to vote. But as citizens, we've got to get knowledge, we've got to get engaged, and we've got to pay attention when elections are happening. So in Georgetown, the next primary is in June. So I'm telling y'all now who live in the city of Georgetown, y'all got a primary in June. But the reason their push is, one, they want to take over Georgetown. Georgetown is a majority Black city. Mm-hmm. And we have majority Black voters, okay? It really is a matter of turnout. We just need to turn out, okay? But what does it mean? Just like the money, the funds that Brandon just talked about, who controls the funds? Those funds are coming. Mm-hmm. And if you want those funds to impact your community and to make a difference, then you need to be at the table. And that means you need to vote. So as Brandon said, economic uplift impacts political. All right? We need to be involved, engage with government, so when those funds come down, we can make sure our community is at the table. And let me make this clear right now for those of you who are listening in Georgetown who are not Black, but y'all know Marilyn Hemingway, and y'all probably on here listening to what I'm saying. This is not excluding other communities. This is for all communities. Thank you. We know how that goes. People like to say all lives matter. Yes, all communities matter. We know that. I know that. And you know that too. All right. But this is about a community that has been historically marginalized and underserved and under-resourced, having a voice at the table. And it is our responsibility as members of that community to make sure that happens.
Absolutely.
And it all is tied into getting out the vote and showing up for committee meetings, commission meetings, and your city, county council, and school board meetings. So you can make sure that that money is allocated to benefit the majority of the people. That's it. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, you brought up something that I've been talking about for a couple of days now. Here in South Carolina specifically, the local Republican parties are targeting local races unlike any time I've seen before. Right. They are putting candidates up in districts that they normally don't. Oh, and I see Jamarr on here. Um, I hope you feel better soon, Jamarr. Um, sending you love and positive energy. But they are targeting races that they normally don't because the demographics typically don't work for them. We saw this in Florence, where in a city council district that is nearly 60% African American, almost 70% Democratic votes there, a Republican is serving in that seat for the very first time, and he was unapologetically far right wing Republican and conservative, right? We've seen this in Sumter, when the same thing, the new mayor there is a very strong conservative, and this is the first time a Republican has led that city. And it's four more examples across the state. But if we don't pay attention to these local races, the big ones won't even matter.
That's right. That's right. That is so true, Brandon. And in Georgetown, we're heading in that same direction, and it's a matter of turnout. And so I'm going to put this out very quickly because I want to hear it in the comments for those of you listening. Why do you think the turnout has decreased for African Americans in these recent elections in South Carolina? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments section because we want to solve the problem. We're problem solvers here. So we want to know what's the problem. Why is there a decrease? Is it lack of communications, lack of knowledge? Let us know and let's address that because we all work with organizations that are working out here to solve these problems, and we need your help to do that. Brandon, what you just said, yeah, it's happening all over. And I don't know if our people are tired or what, and we keep hearing this, oh, we're going to be like Georgia. We need to be like Georgia. Well, if you're going to be like Georgia, you got to show up. And also, you got to realize it took them 15 years to get to where they are. I think people see an election cycle and think, oh, this just happened since she ran for governor. Nope, it didn't. It took about 15 years for certain conditions to be created. And I've talked about it before. Brandon talked about that economic part of it. You've got to have the right economic condition. You've got to have the right educational condition. You have to have a strong educational system, K through 12 and higher education. You've got to have diversity. That's, people, yes, Black women led the effort in Georgia, but it was a very diverse effort. Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders were highly involved. The Hispanic, Latino population was involved with the effort. So you have to have certain conditions in place to create the right political critical mass in the politics. That's what Stacey Abrams' brilliancy is, because she saw that. She saw the economic conditions. She saw the diversity. She saw the educational piece working together to create critical mass that impacted the political piece. We do not have that in South Carolina, folks. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. We don't have it in South Carolina. But what we do have is an opportunity on the local level to elect people who are going to spend the money coming from the American Rescue Plan, who are going to spend the money from the infrastructure plan when it passed, and I'm going to claim it that it's going to pass, and they will know where to invest that money, and that's going to make a world of difference. But we got to do what we need to do also. We got to get out and vote, folks.
We do.
We've got to be engaged.
Diversity is our strength, but unity is our superpower. And we already have the diversity we need to move this ball forward. But the unity part of that, and I don't mean unity as in we're all thinking alike. I mean us unifying with our numbers to move in the same direction. That means moving in the same direction to those polls on election day, moving in the same direction to the city council and county council meetings when critical issues are on the table, moving together in unity to make sure that our state representatives and state senators are doing the job that we need them to do, to not only voice our issues, put them on the table, but push them into legislation so that they can become law. So we can start seeing tangible results from them driving to Columbia once a week for 6 months a year, right? That's
Exactly.
We gotta flex our superpower, and that superpower is us unifying and moving in the same direction.
Yeah, and I see a comment from Eric Grant. He was saying, I think we still fail to see the importance of the local elections and how they more directly impact our everyday lives, even with an Obama in office. That is true to a certain extent, Eric. I think to address that, we need to be in the neighborhoods. We need to be in the streets educating folks and getting them out to these local elections. I'll give you an example of one thing that the chamber is working on. We just received a grant last week, or notified that we have been awarded a grant. It's a $20,000 grant, and we are going to do the Environmental and Energy Conference in Charleston, South Carolina. It started in Georgetown, then we went to Columbia, now we're restarting it in Charleston. And part of what we put in that grant is funds for gas cards and babysitting services. And the gas cards, it's a limited number, but when we get that registration up and running, if you register and you come the day of the event, you get a gas card. If you register and you come to the event and you bring your kids and you're a single parent, we're going to have a babysitting service for you. This is what we have to do as organizations.
Absolutely.
If we have the means to do it, we've got to help our people get to the knowledge, not just to vote, but when we're not voting, we've got to bring people out to where we are, the closest we can get to them, so we can educate them and give them the knowledge. And if that means I got to give you some gas money, I'm going to get you some gas money. If that means we got to get you a babysitter, you're going to have a babysitter on site. And that was awarded in the grant. We've got to start thinking out of the box, folks. We can't stop talking at people and say, you got to come out and get knowledge. We've got to give them the means to get to the knowledge.
But, Marilyn, folks are afraid to ask for what they need. I can just imagine there are other organizations out there who know that the gas, travel, lodging, childcare are barriers to people being able to access different opportunities like what you're presenting, but they're afraid to ask for help in that direction or even put that into the grant application. I'm glad that you are not just an innovator, but you're a fearless champion for our people and our needs and overcoming those obstacles. That is absolutely amazing. I read the email when you announced it, but I didn't realize those other two elements were in there. So kudos.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I do that because you know who Mui? Did you know Mui from Charleston who was killed in New Orleans?
Oh yeah.
He and I were talking about that before he left Charleston, and when he did the flag, he snatched the flag down, and they opened a GoFundMe for him for his legal services, his legal fees, excuse me. Well, he had money left over, and the plan was to put it on the ground where we could literally get people transported to city council and county council meetings.
Wow.
Because transportation is an issue. We know transportation is an issue. So how do we solve that? And we got to be real. If you got to pay people to get in their car and go take grandma to city and county council meetings, or not even grandma, single parents, anybody, if transportation is an issue, we can't wait. The bus system in South Carolina in general, it's terrible bus system.
It is. You
miss the bus, you're going to have to wait another hour or two. By that time, the meetings are over. So how do we solve the problem? We've got to start thinking out the box. And right now, people want to put money into underserved communities. But doggone it, you better go get that money.
You better get it.
You better go get it. And you better be innovative.
Yes.
Because time shows us that money going to dry up. But by the time it dries up, we've already invested in the community and built our own businesses. That's why I started Got to Get Your Chamber of Commerce. It's an economic justice issue.
Yes, it is.
We worry about losing jobs if we. So how do you solve that? Go create your own damn job. Create your own damn business. That's what I did. Yeah. And that's what we need to do. And it's political, folks. These Republicans are screaming against the American Rescue Plan, and they're screaming against the infrastructure plan because they know it's transformative.
Yep.
They know it.
They don't want the controls to be uplifted and broken. If you can control people's access to mobility, their access to education, you can control that person for the rest of their lives. And I was listening to Fox Business. They had a special guest on there, and he was talking about if you can create a business that creates long-term customers, meaning they need you and depend on you and your services for a long period of time. That is what a successful business, what he called a unicorn. But that's the standard. And when you think about why in the world would they fight against us expanding childcare investment in the country, right? Why would they fight against us increasing the child tax credit that people get with this recovery or rescue plan, right? Why? It's not because they're fiscally conservative. It's because they understand if you become free, they lose their control over the country.
Exactly.
And we need all of y'all to know that we are free. And we're not going to stop until we all get free, whether that's mentally, economically, or politically in this country. And that's what the work is. And I started talking about the ACA. The new enrollment period due to the rescue plan reopen. It goes from April 1st to May 15th. And under that new enrollment period, if you are unemployed, you pay $0 on your premium. And that's only if you and your spouse or you're a single person are unemployed. That's $0. So that'll help. And also, folks, if you got children, they've expanded the tax credit. So it's $3,600 for kids under 6, and it's $3,000 for children between 6 and under 18. So that is a lot of money that can help stabilize you throughout the next 6 months, because what they're going to do is take half of that money that you qualify for and give it to you in 6 payments over the course of half the year. So starting in July 1st. I just wanted to finish that up because I knew we were talking about this starting off.
I know, and that's very important to know. There are a lot of families out there who know. Y'all, Brandon he reminded me of this before we got on the show, and I was like, Brandon, that's enough for me to go and get a child. But but y'all, it's too late for me. I ain't worried about that. And then I was like, my cats need to go get a job because they expensive. I got cats, y'all. I'm not a cat lady though. I guess I'm a cat lady now. I really like dogs. I want a dog, But
hey,
get a job. Y'all need to get a job. Thank you.
Hey, you've adopted the whole community, Marilyn.
Yeah, but I can't write them off of my taxes. I got to figure something out. But it's all good. I've been blessed. I've been blessed this year. And this is why we're out here just educating people and giving y'all knowledge. And Brandon is so true. This is not about fiscal responsibility because they blew up the deficit while Trump was president. Mm-hmm. Now, all of a sudden, they're trying to the deficit's going up. Honey, please, y'all, we know the gig is over, y'all. More people know. But we need to know even more than what we know. And then we need to put it to work within the system. Take that knowledge out and force your elected officials, I don't care if they black or white, to do the work for the people. And if they're not, we need to move them on and get somebody else. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Fannie Lou Hamer, my hero, Shiro. She was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I am too. I'm just sick and tired, y'all. We've been doing the work, and you can see it as clear as day what the problem is. And Brandon just laid it out for you. This isn't about fiscal responsibility. This is about power and control. And as Frederick Douglass said, power has never given up power willingly, and it never will. Why should they? They sitting in high cotton.
Yeah.
And it's not even about them losing anything. We just want what we are deserved and owed as human beings on this earth.
Yeah.
That Nikki Haley, this week she was on the thing with the UN ambassador. When I was UN ambassador, I never embarrassed us by saying that our Constitution was embedded in white supremacy. Well, honey, let me tell you, Nikki, when you put 3/5 of a human in the Constitution, honey, that's white supremacy embedded in your Constitution.
Absolutely.
So I don't, Nikki Haley is playing that game too, and she's trying to run for president. But we giving y'all the knowledge now. Nikki Haley never needs to be president because she just as racist as the white folks. All right.
And the worst type of racist is the type of racist that hate themselves, right?
Yes.
I think Dave Chappelle did a great job at that skit he did with the black white supremacist. The guy who was blind and didn't know he was a black man, but was a member of the Klan. Nikki Haley has been fighting and pushing back against her heritage, her entire political career, to the fact that she won't even acknowledge her own first name. And on documentation, she puts that she's a white woman. And yet you are going to run for president to lead our country when you don't even know or acknowledge yourself. You got a lot of growing to do, Nikki Haley, especially when you oversaw the plan to strip our state of much needed resources and opportunities when you allowed the state not to expand Medicaid during the ACA. You forfeited money that would have went to our roads and our bridges and our education just so you could put your politics above the people that you were here to serve. And just because you were there during the unfortunate circumstances with the massacre at Mother Emanuel to bring down the Confederate flag does not mean that you understand the plight and the issues of our people. That does not make you a good person. That makes you an opportunist. So I'll say it again when she announces, but I got a lot more to say.
And I'm going to say it too. I'm waiting. It burns me up to follow her on Facebook, but I follow her so I can stay up to date on what she's saying and what's out there. But boy, when I read that stuff, my head wants to explode because I'm like, point blank lying, point blank playing to the racist part of the Republican Party. And at this point, let's just be honest, the Republican Party is just a racist entity. It is, y'all. I don't care how they try to clean up their stink, still stink, And
there was a candidate that once said, you may not be racist, but the racists think you're racist.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's just a fact at this point. But I wanted to bring up a comment here by Eric Grant going back to so many Gullah Geechee communities, especially rural ones, suffer from this lack of access to information. And yes, that's very true. Yep. And we have to rehabilitate hyper-local news organizations.
Absolutely.
Y'all, that's a business for a Black person to start. Y'all can start a newspaper online. Y'all don't have to print it. I know our biggest local newspaper right now in Georgetown County is Gab News Online. Yeah, I'm advertising him. And everybody goes to it, but he covers the news. He has his phone, he has his website, and he covers the news. I don't know how much it costs him to do the website, but on Facebook, all you got to do is start a page and you go start covering. He covers everything. Wow. And he charges advertising. Y'all can figure this out. Y'all can figure that. And yes, we do need news because this is one man. And yes, he covers Georgetown County. People read him, but the Georgetown Times has basically been footed into the Post and Courier, and it has disappeared. And on the western portion of the county, which is majority Black, Galageechee, we don't get the news like we should anymore, because basically we don't have a true local news organization other than Gab News Online, and that's one man. Okay? All right. We need a better newspaper. It is a huge issue.
Yeah.
In rural communities and urban communities also, that local newspapers are disappearing. But to me, this is once again why I started Galageechee Chamber of Commerce. I see opportunity. And the opportunity is for someone to start an online local newspaper and share the news, even if you just put out there, here are the days and times for city council meetings. Here's the day and times for county council meeting. And you go with your smartphone, turn it on, and hook it up to your Facebook page. That's the newspaper, y'all. And we need to do it.
Yeah.
And if you get time to write a little newsletter and print it out, especially for those of us who lack access to broadband or our elderly who may not be as comfortable with computers, it only has to start one page, y'all. One page is a newspaper.
Yeah.
We've got to think out of the box. We've got to think innovatively and make this happen. It is a game changer. It is transformational. And yes, we've got to show up to these political events, to these government meetings and stuff, and let our voices be heard, even if they shake.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that quote. Y'all know, even if your voice is shaking, you still got to speak up. And let me tell you something. Probably about 25 years ago, my voice used to shake. It don't shake no more.
we hear you loud and clear, Marilyn. Say it with your chest.
If it shakes there, if my voice shaking now, y'all know I'm really mad.
Yeah.
And some folks need to be watching out there. Woo!
Hey, I just want to add to the local media. We absolutely need more local media, because now that so many of our outlets are gobbled up by one family in Charleston that control the Post and Courier, the integrity of the information that is put out is compromised. Because if you notice, when it comes to certain issues, it has that personal slant to it. So we need breaking up that monopoly that we have in this state will only better the quality of news and the integrity of the news for our community. So we need it. I'll be the first subscriber if I see somebody bring it up.
I know, and and there are already some African American online out there now, and folks, if they're out there and they're in your community, support them. Buy an ad. I mean, it's really inexpensive ads. I try to advertise when I can. Just buy an ad, y'all. If you're telling somebody happy birthday, buy an ad. It's really inexpensive, and that helps though. But it helps keep us in business. Brandon, what else do we need to know about the American Rescue Plan that you wanted to share with us? Did you get a chance to share everything?
Just about. You just make me think about last year during COVID-19, Black Americans in South Carolina were still able to spend $3.1 billion in our state. So, when you look at the distribution of that $3.1 billion, we need to make sure that it circulates within our community as well. And a small part of that is supporting local Black-owned businesses. But let's see, I want to make sure I said everything. Oh, Cobra Benefits at 100% of whatever you qualify for will be distributed by the federal government if you qualify for Cobra Benefits for the next 6 months, starting in July 1st. And
that reminds me of something too, Brandon. Oh, the funeral expenses. If y'all unfortunately had a family member who passed from COVID-19, you can get funeral expenses covered. I think it's like 90%, but I know it's not 100%, but it's like 80, 90%. That's a huge amount of money, folks, especially if it's an unexpected death. And of course, we share our sympathies with everyone, but this is an opportunity to recoup some of those costs, those unfortunate costs. So that's another part of the American Rescue Plan.
Yeah, and I know you're sharing the article that talks about how this plan impacts families and specifically Black women. I don't think we talked about the child care yet and how this is the largest investment in child care since World War II. But you brought up something that I didn't know was in the New Deal. What happened there?
Yeah, they created federal child care centers so folks could go out to work in the New Deal programs that we heard about, the Triple C, Civilian Conservation Corps, all of that. They actually had they created federal child care centers so the parents could go to work through those, WPA, we hear about all those acronyms and stuff. So that started creating a child care system. What Brandon and I both know and we discussed is how African Americans were deliberately left out of the New Deal, but times have changed now. And they've changed because when you vote and you make sure certain people win, they owe you.
Absolutely.
That's reciprocation. And so a lot of what's in these new plans, the American Rescue Plan and the infrastructure plan, will benefit families, working families, and Black women. And let me tell you something, y'all. When Black people benefit from the government, when Black people benefit, period, everyone benefits.
Absolutely.
Everyone benefits. Don't let nobody tell you that lie that it only benefits Black people. When Black people benefit, everybody benefits. That's just factual. Because where do we spend our money? Where do we spend our money? So don't let anybody tell y'all that lie. So they created child care centers under the New Deal so the parents could go out, find work, and get to work. They literally lifted this country back up from a depression. And Biden, let's give him credit, is trying to do it again, but the difference is the focus on working families and the Black community. That's the difference. Now, if that don't give y'all a reason to pick up the phone and call y'all senators and representatives, I don't know what will, or make y'all go vote. I'm in a mood today, y'all. I'm a little tired, y'all. I am. I'm in one of those moods.
Literally and figuratively. I understand.
Lord, I'm of a certain age. Well, Brandon, it looks like our time's coming up. Look, y'all, we said we were going to do a short show today.
We did.
But we were hot. We got, we talking everything. We do our do. So it's always good though, Brandon. Any last words, Brandon, so we can wrap this up for our folks?
Don't forget that these benefits most of them will be allocated through your local government. Mm-hmm. So whatever you do, don't give your local senator, your local state representative a pass. Go look them up, figure out whose district you're in if you don't know. It's a great little website called vote411.org, I believe. You can put your information in there. It'll tell you every district that you're in. Go ahead and call their office. If you don't want to call their office, send them an email. And if you don't want to send an email, write a letter. But make sure that your local representatives know that you need them to do the right thing with your money, because this is our money. It is not a special privilege or a benefit that someone is blessing us with. This is something that is owed to us as American taxpayers. So don't feed into the hype. Let your representatives know and go out there and make your voices heard no matter what.
Very good, Brandon. That's a good way to end the show. And I put both websites, vote411.org, in the comments. And I also put scstatehouse.gov. That is the South Carolina State House, your House of Representative and State Senate. That's their website. You can enter your zip code, and it will tell you who your senator and representatives are. And y'all, once you find out, as Brandon says, do your research, give them a call. As a matter of fact, call them anyway before you do the research and just say, hey, I just want to remind you I'm your constituent and I wanted to say hello. And I hope you're doing the right thing because they work for us. They work for us. And they need to be reminded of that. So give them a call, y'all, and just say, hey, vote for the laws and bills that benefit the majority of the people. That's all we ask for. And you see the American Rescue Plan, I think 80% support.
Yeah.
And for the infrastructure plan, it's up there too, 80%, 80+% in support because people get it, y'all.
Common sense.
If you think I'm sick and tired, y'all sick and tired too. Most of this country is just tired. We're fatigued. And we have an opportunity to make a change. So let's make that happen. Brandon, always good to talk to you.
Hey, the pleasure is definitely mine. This is great as always.
Yeah, no, we guarantee that we talk once a month. And shout out to Jamarr. I should have done it at the beginning. Brandon did it. Jamarr was sick today and couldn't join us, but he said he's definitely back in May. And because we love getting together on third Sundays to do politics talk, and that, y'all, this is what we do when we get together.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations, Marilyn, on your award. That you got for the work that you're doing with the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. Y'all, hey, Google Marilyn, please, so you know exactly how great this woman is and the amazing work that she's doing. Well deserved. Congratulations. You definitely have done the work.
Thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate that. And I do want to say thank you. You just reminded me. Thank you. We gave away 800 food boxes yesterday, and it was to celebrate my birthday. I wanted to give back to the community, so we did 800 food boxes yesterday. So I want to thank the community for supporting that effort also. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. And I'll see you before the month is over. I know we'll talk again between.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right. See you.
Everyone, I want to remind you that in May 3rd through the 8th is the International Gullah Film Festival that's happening. Let me put that up there. Yep. It's happening virtually. And you just need to go to www.tigff.org. That's tigff.org and register. That is the International Gullah Film Festival in partnership with the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. And yes, I am on the board of the film festival. And we have some great films and activities that are happening. We do have a couple of socially distanced in-person events happening, but this is a virtual film festival. The first time we did it in 2019, of course, it was in person. We had a great time. And then since then, of course, with COVID and everything, we've done it. This is the second time that it'll be a virtual film festival. So please go to www.tigff.org, the International Gullah Film Festival, and sign up now, register now for the film festival, and you'll have a wonderful time. I guarantee it. Thank you, Jamarr. I see your comments. All right. Thank you, Jamarr. Really appreciate it. And also, Eric, thank you very much. I appreciate it too. And to the South Carolina African American Heritage Commission for giving me the Herbert A. DaCosta Trailblazer Award. Very proud and excited to receive that award. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your evening. And we'll see you Wednesday. I do have. We're talking free wills. There's a free wills workshop coming up, and we're going to be talking about it this Wednesday. So look for that advertisement and make sure you're back here at 4:00 on this coming Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.